Hey guys, Bryson Taylor here. Welcome back to today's video. Have you ever heard a melody that was just so gosh darn catchy you just couldn't stop singing it, whistling it, wherever you are, in the car, the shower, doing the dishes? You can't get this melody out of your head. It's just so catchy. You got to keep singing it. It's just ear candy. You keep repeating it to yourself. Have you ever heard a melody like that? Because I have. The melody that I'm talking about today is Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder. It's a great song, great tune, a lot of cool stuff going on in there, but I think it is possibly one of the catchiest melodies ever written. Now again, this is just my own personal opinion, but I'd like to try to explain to you why I think it's one of the most catchiest melodies ever written by showing you what the melody sounds like over the chords that are played. So I'm going to go ahead and play the melody for you so you can hear it a little bit better, to just kind of accent on top of the vocals, because to a little bit of a degree it's a little hard to hear with the music and everything going on. So just to highlight it and kind of accent the volume on it, I'm going to play it along with the song. So let's listen to it. Alright, so let's start with our chords. So it's a really cool chord progression, and the melody is actually really simple when you break it down. But for the chords, to kind of see what the melody is going over top of, the song is in the key of E, but he starts on a C sharp minor 7 chord, so it's the 6th minor chord in the key. So that's our first chord. And then it's followed up with actually a secondary dominant chord. It's an F sharp 7. I like to play an F sharp 9, I think it gives it a little more character. So that would be kind of our 5 of 5 if you think about it in a secondary dominant sense, because F sharp 7 is actually the 5 of B. So it kind of resolves. The next chord is A slash B, so it's a B in the bass with an A triad. Kind of resolves to where it should go, kind of doesn't. It's really cool. And then it lands on an E chord, which is what we are in the key of. So altogether, the verse progression kind of sounds like this. And then when he goes to kind of the little chorusy section, he only adds 2 chords. They go to a major 7. I never thought through love we'd be, and then he goes to a G sharp 7, and then right back into what he was playing, to C sharp minor 7, to F sharp 7, to a slash B, and then to an E, and then the little lick there at the end to tie it back together. But super cool chord progression. It's really fun. You play it in the style of the song. It's kind of upbeat. It's got a nice groove to it. It's really happy sounding. Just a really cool chord progression. But now let's look at the melody. Okay, so for the verse melody, he starts on the major 3rd, which that's going to be a G sharp in the key of E. So it's Isn't She Lovely? So he goes major 3, 4, major 3rd, to the 2nd, back to the 1. So I'm speaking in terms of scale degrees. So if you're not familiar with scale degrees just label the notes of a scale. So we're in the key of E. G sharp is the 3rd note in the key of E major. So it's our 3rd scale degree. So that's what I mean when I say that. But it's G sharp, A, G sharp, F sharp, then to E. So But just really simple, but it's just da 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 da, but really, really catchy. Especially when played over the chords. But I like to kind of add a little soul to it. Not that the song isn't soulful, but I just like to add a little guitar player's flair to the melody when I play it. So I like to slide into that third. But after you do the major third 4, major third second 1, on the second time around it goes to a C sharp B. And then when they go to what is essentially the chorus, when they change the chords, I never thought, when they go to that A major 7, it slides into a G sharp down at the bottom. So it's major third 4, 5. You hit that 5 twice. And then you walk back up. And then land on what is the 4th, which is an A note in the key of E. And then the last little part of the melody that kind of ties it all together, he slides back into the G sharp, which is again our major third, and hits it 3 times. So it's G sharp, G sharp, G sharp, and then they go to an F sharp, E, and then back to F sharp, and then to a C sharp, to E, and then he plays the verse melody again. But I think the melody works because it's so simple. It's very few notes that, you know, it has the third, the fourth, the second, and the first in it for most of the verse. But it's just very simplistic. It's just, they didn't overcomplicate it when they were composing the melody. And I think it works very nicely over the chords because the chords aren't boring. You know, it's a 6 minor to a 5 of 5, you know, F sharp 7. So it's a secondary dominant chord, and then it goes to that A/B chord, and then it goes back to our root E. So the progression is fun as well, but the melody works because it's not over a boring chord progression, but the melody also works because they didn't overcomplicate the melody. You know, it's almost like they made the chords a little more complicated. They didn't do like, you know, a 1-4-6-5 or 1-6-4-5, you know, those chords in any order. And they didn't, you know, go too crazy with the melody. They left the melody a little simplistic while complicating the chords just a touch. But when you combine them both, it just works out so beautifully because the melody being as simplistic as it is, you know, just using starting on the major third and going to the 4, back to the major third, and then going to the second and then the 1, you know, for the first part of it just being like, just very simple. It's da 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 da. And you know, I'm sure somebody probably came up with that melody when they were writing the song originally, and then the chords probably came later, but you know, when you sing that melody, it's just something you can sit there and like snap your fingers to, get a groove going. Da 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 da. But you get the point. But super, super easy melody to play. The chorusy part of that, where they turn it back around, you know, get ready to loop it back, and they go to the A major 7 and the G sharp 7. That part of the melody is probably the most complicated. But again, it's the third, the fourth, the fifth, again with the first and the second added in there at the very end. But very, very simple melody, and I think that's why it works. Is because it's not super, super complicated. But Isn't She Lovely is a really great song. I remember the first time I heard it, I heard the melody and I was just like, that is such a catchy melody. I probably listened to that song at least 1,000 times the first month that I heard it. I just had it on a repeat, just going over and over. Because up to the point that, I heard that song, before I had heard that song, I knew who Stevie Wonder was because I'd heard Superstition about 8,000 times. And it was kind of before I, branched into the Stevie Wonder catalog of music. And I heard that song and I was like, that has got to be one of the best melodies I've ever heard. It's just so simple, but so catchy, and it gets stuck in your head. And that's exactly what you want a song to do when you're making a song. You want to have a catchy melody, something that people can sing, something that's easy to remember. But I think that song really checks all the boxes for being one of the catchiest melodies that I've personally ever heard. And that's why I really love the song, and I really wanted to talk about it today, because I think the melody is just absolute ear candy, and it's just one of the catchiest melodies that I personally ever heard in my life. But one of my other favorite things to do, along with playing the melody and the chords and just kind of vamping to the song, is to solo over this song. There's some really cool stuff you can do chromatically. You can mix major and minor pentatonic to play over, when you're soloing over top of the chords to the song. It's a lot of fun, so I'm going to solo you guys out today playing Isn't She Lovely with the melody and doing some solo stuff. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.